there's a new standings both in college and the pros. Are you aware that Colorado won on Saturday? They won a moral victory, right? The Jets won a moral victory as well. So in their record, Colorado, who won their first three, they're 3-2-1, right? Those aren't ties. Those are moral victories. For the Jets are now, 1-3-1. That one signifies a moral victory. But I do think that anyone could have seen last night. It was weird. It was a black as white, day as night. And here's what I mean. Normally, the Jets are, yes, I've said this through 3 networks, because every network I usually work at up until Fox. Fox is mostly Southern California based, right? So that the Jets are to ESPN and CBS, and maybe even frankly NBC, what USC is to Fox. That there are so many Jets fans that works at these places. New Yorkers, they usually go to Syracuse, right? Then they live on the island. People who live on Long Island. Remember, the Jets used to play in Shea Stadium. This is before the first Meadowlands were built. And the Jets have always had kind of a blue-collar fan base. And the Jets game is not... A good friend of mine, Lee Stacy, used to be the president of marketing there. And Lee used to tell me, like, look, we're a blue-collar, Jersey, Long Island fan base. And it wasn't just Taylor Swift. Blake Lively's there. Ryan Reynolds was there. They're married, so yeah, they both went together. And I think Hugh Jackman was there. What's his name from Succession? I don't know the actor's actual name. It's Kendall in the show. He was there. Like, it was a who's who, and that's usually reserved for the Knicks, or maybe the Mets, or the Yankees, but not the Jets. The Jets play in Jersey, and they're the other team that plays in Jersey. The Giants are the ones that have won the Super Bowls, right? 2 with Parcells, and then 2 with Eli Manning as quarterback, both times upsetting the New England Patriots. That's the Giants, not the Jets. But a funny thing happened. Taylor Swift shows up. Now all of a sudden there's all these stars in tow. And instead of it being a coronation of just how great the Chiefs are, Pat Mahomes, in his, I call it a Superman complex, where he thinks he can literally save the day. He did. You know, they got a couple calls, the holding call on what should have been a game-changing interception, as well as the lack of a holding call on offense when he run for like 23 yards in that play. But the craziest part was he was the second best quarterback on the field last night. Like, if you would have told me all the things that happened yesterday, right? Was it surprising that the Dolphins were shut down by the Bills? A little bit. We talked about it a lot on Friday, if you remember, because I told you Sean McDermott, he cut his teeth as a defense coordinator with the Eagles, and then with the Carolina Panthers, who went to the Super Bowl, and like this was his own personal Super Bowl, right? And they found a way to slow down that incredibly fast-paced, incredibly powerful Dolphins offense. But on the road, that many weeks in a row, you got that many weeks of tape, it could happen. Was I surprised the Jaguars won? I was not. Was I surprised that the Chargers were far better than the Raiders and nearly lost to the Raiders? I was not. The Niners win didn't surprise me. The Cowboys are more talented than the Patriots. Like most of these things, the Browns, the reason I didn't pick the Browns to win at home against the Ravens was because we had a hint based upon the fact that Deshaun Watson only threw one pass and then left to go to the training room on Friday, that DTR would play. And you give me Lamar Jackson versus DTR, I'm taking Lamar Jackson 6 times a week and twice on Sunday. So those things weren't surprising. The Rams' hot start is surprising. Congrats to you, Ramos. The Houston Texans looking decent and kicking the crap out of Pittsburgh. Not surprising. Pittsburgh's offense not that good. Not surprising D'Amico Ryans can really motivate. But having a rookie quarterback playing this well, kind of surprising. But the most stunning thing of the night had to be Zach Wilson looked like he could actually play football. And what was missing last year? The true downfall to Zach Wilson was 2 things. It was confidence or lack thereof, and accountability or lack thereof last year. You guys remember? Right, last year he stood in front of the country and he was asked if, it was a game where the defense really played well, and, what you would say to the defense that played well, considering how poorly the offense played, and he offered nothing. He didn't say, hey, it was our bad, we got to score some points, we got to win the game for you. Okay, so remember that. Then think about how well he played last night, and then listen to his response on why they lost.
Yeah, that's on me. Critical situation, I can't have a play like that. I cannot drop the ball, and this team is sacrificing a lot. Guys were making plays, defense was making plays, O-line was protecting, the receivers were making plays, and to be driving right there and to drop a snap, I cannot do that. I lost us that game, and I cannot do that. And I was making it clear to those guys that I need to be better. I need to be better on the little things, the details. It can't happen.
I mean, there was something there, right? And it's one of those things, and I mean this when I say it. Okay? Jordan Palmer, that's Carson's brother. Jordan's a former, mostly backup in the NFL. I think he started a couple games. He's like the quarterback guru. Jordan Palmer came on, I'd say like a year and a half ago. We're getting ready for the draft, and I asked him what the number one attribute to the star quarterbacks, what makes it, what breaks it. And he didn't say accuracy, he didn't say athletic ability, he didn't say arm strength, right? He said confidence. And I know we think of these athletes as kind of superheroes, but there are times in which guys have a crisis in confidence. It's part of what makes Pat Mahomes great. Right? Is that Pat Mahomes, he'll throw a pick, and I can't do his voice, but he'll say, like, my bad. And then he'll go, and he never seems to lack confidence. He's Steph Curry. That's who he is. Like, Steph Curry has this amazing ability to never lose his confidence. But most human beings have a crisis in confidence, especially when you play as poorly as he played at times last year. Remember, his personal life was put on blast because he was alleged to have dated one of his mom's friends. And then, oh yeah, by the way, he said the wrong thing after a game, and his team turned on him, and some of the players started wearing T-shirts supporting the backup quarterback. Like, that'll kill anybody's confidence. If you're not confident, you got no shot. No shot. Here's Robert Saleh, his head coach, on the game.
I thought he was really good. Gave us a chance to win the game, brought us back. If he plays like that, we're going to win a lot of football games.
Now, look, you have to stack them. It's like good days. You got to stack your good days. Anybody can have a good day. Anybody can have a bad day. It's the ratio of good days to bad days. And maybe more than anything, it's the ratio of games in which you're confident to games in which you lack confidence. And I think as much as we all want to go, oh, Aaron Rodgers is back, whatever, he looked like a different dude, didn't he? That did not look like the same Zach Wilson. And I would give some credit to Aaron Rodgers. Calling together the team, telling him to relax, and whenever he said to Zach Wilson, he just looked and it felt different. He looked and it felt different.
Are you buying that Aaron Rodgers is going to be back this season playing football? No. Or is this some kind of weird ploy in his mind to give the team something to play for?
No, there's a world there where he does get back because the procedure he had was not the traditional graft that they usually use. And so it's not that we're making it out like it's this new procedure. It's not. It just hasn't been used on a high profile athlete of his magnitude at his age in football. So do I think there's a chance? I do. And I would guess, part of it is that they tell you, and I can tell you this from one, tearing an ACL and what my doc, who's a former athlete, said, and two, if you read about this, when you have your Achilles or your knee, when you have that thing grafted, the truth is that when you first get it done, for the first month, that's when it's strongest, right? Because literally it's grafted together, like it's held together with all different sorts of stitching and whatever. And then it sheds itself and dies and then regrows. And that period of time where it dies and regrows, I think it's somebody help me out. It's like the 6th or 8th week. It's like a 2-week period. That's when it actually gets weak again. And then after that, once it regenerates, you're good. You're good. The problem with the Achilles tendon generally is the atrophy to everything else and then you get an imbalance. So, yeah, your Achilles is fine, but one, you lose some explosiveness. It's natural. Although he's in his late 30s, it's not as much. It doesn't have to be as twitchy. But the bigger thing is, do you hurt something else because you're compensating for that Achilles tendon? And it takes a long time. This shortens the process. So do I think he'll be back in the regular season? I don't. Do I think they'll get deep enough in the postseason for him to play? I don't. But it is a long season. People do heal, and I'm guessing that he probably goes and gets some of the advanced therapy overseas because, I mean, he's gone and gotten advanced therapy for other stuff in different countries as well, hasn't he? But I also think it's throwing the carrot out there like, hey, you guys keep playing. I'll be back. I'll be ready. Which motivates anybody.